Welcome back to another episode of How to Convince with Lawyer Fizz. Today, I'm so excited to get into our topic, which is about how to communicate with confidence. This is something that many of you have messaged me and asked me to do a deep dive, and this is going to be all of my tips and tricks on how to be more confident, even when you're not feeling like it. People think that confident communication is about being loud or charismatic or always knowing the right thing to say. But here's the truth. Confident communication is a skill, not a personality trait. And today I'll show you how to speak with clarity, authority, and presence, whether you're in a meeting, on a date, or any conflict, or just trying to stop shrinking around people who intimidate you. And I'm closing today's episode with a Q&A. So I'm going to answer some real subscriber questions about finding your voice and sounding more confident and handling tough conversations. So let's get into it. Why does confident communication matter? In law, confidence changes outcomes. Same facts, same arguments, but the way you say it, how clearly, calmly, and firmly you speak, that decides whether people believe you. And why it matters in real life? Well, one, people decide whether to respect you in seconds. Two, you teach people how to treat you by how you speak. And three, confidence invites connection and commands space. I see how confident communication also plays out in the legal world. For example, I've had witnesses who were telling the truth, but no one believed them because they sounded unsure. And I've had liars on the other side sound credible because they were calm, clear, and confident. So what that tells me is that perception matters. Next, I want to go into the 3 foundations of confident communication. 1, presence. When you walk into a room, I want you to pause, plant your feet, look up, and lock eyes with one person for 3 seconds. This says, I'm not here to prove myself. I belong here. 2, when you talk fast, it gives off nervous energy. Confident speakers pause often and speak slower than they think they should. A good tactic is when you end your sentence, just pause. Let your words land. You don't need to fill it with anything. And 3, clarity. Stop diluting your message with disclaimers like, I don't know if this makes sense, but instead say, here's my take. Clarity signals leadership. Here are some real life examples where you see confidence play out under pressure. 1, when you're asking for a raise, right? We've all been there where you've been showing up and exceeding expectations, and now it's time to ask for more. Most people go in with nervous energy, with too many justifications and too many apologies. Instead, I want you to try this. Say, I've taken on more responsibility this year and delivered results that move the needle. I believe a salary of X reflects the value I bring, and I'm excited to keep building here. This is calm, direct, and there's no begging. It's just business. Another example is when you're speaking up in a group setting. Let's say you're at a meeting or a group discussion and you have a thought, but someone cuts you off, right? The old version of you might have let it slide, but here's the upgrade. I want you to say, I'll jump back in. I wasn't quite finished. You don't need to be aggressive. You just need to hold your ground. Another scenario that pops up is when you're navigating relationship conflict, right? Imagine your partner says to you, you've never listened to me. Most people react by saying, yes, I do, or that's not fair, right? It's like a knee-jerk reaction. But confident communication sounds like this. It matters to me that you feel heard. Tell me what I missed. That's not weakness. That's strength and emotional control. It shifts a dynamic from attack to resolution. 4, when someone tries to one-up you, right? You're sharing something you're proud of, and then someone immediately jumps in with a bigger or better story. Confident people don't compete for attention. Instead, I want you to try. That's cool. I was actually still finishing mine. Or even better, don't compete. Stay composed. Let them reveal their insecurity. Remember, your calm is the power. And 5, correcting someone without looking combative. You're in a group and someone misquotes you or misrepresents your idea, right? Instead of getting flustered, what I want you to try to say instead is, I want to clarify what I meant because I think it landed differently than I intended. What this shows is that you're paying attention, staying composed, and protecting your message, not your ego. So I also want to leave you with some bonus tips. Some of these phrases that I've developed that I use to sound instantly more confident. And you can apply these phrases kind of across the board, wherever you see fit. Let's pause here. I want to be clear. Or I'll stand by that. That's one perspective. Here's mine. Or you can say, I disagree, and I'll explain why. Or say, let me finish that thought. I need a moment to think about that. See, this gives you some opportunity to buy your time, but still maintaining your confidence. Here are some confidence psychology hacks that I like to use. The first being the power pose. This is when you take up space before having a big moment. And you're not afraid to, open up your body, right? You're not crossing your arms. You're not slouching. You're not making yourself seem small. You're actually taking up space. Another trick is called the deep breath trick. This is when you inhale for 4 seconds, you hold it for 4 seconds, and then you exhale for 6 seconds. This slows your heart rate down and it actually steadies your voice. Another trick I like to use is called visualization. Picture the exact posture, tone, and tempo of the version of you who speaks with conviction, then act it out. See, the brain doesn't know the difference between real and rehearsed. When you train it with confident habits, it starts to believe you are that person. And then eventually, you are.
Now it's time for the subscriber Q&A. The first question is, how do I speak up without sounding rude? What I like to do is I like to use boundary phrases that sound firm and respectful. So for example, I'll say, I want to be upfront about something, or I want to express this clearly, not harshly. Remember, confidence isn't rude, it's honest. The second question is, I always freeze when I'm challenged. How do I hold my ground? For me, I like to use a go-to anchor phrase, such as, let me finish that thought, or here's what I was getting at. Those phrases will help you stay steady while your mind catches up. And the third question is, how do I stop rambling? So for this, I would say, know your exit. Have a clear last line in your mind, then stop talking. For example, so that's what I wanted to share. See, rambling kills clarity. Confident speakers land the plane.
If this helped you, share it with a friend. And if you have a question and you want me to answer in the next Q&A, what I want you to do is click the link that's in my caption and subscribe to my newsletter. We send out an email every Tuesday and Thursday with a helpful tip, whether it's setting boundaries, communicating more confidently, you name it. I cover everything there. And if you want to reply to one of those emails with a question, I promise you I read every single question and I might just include it in my next video. This has been How to Convince with Lawyer Vince, and I'll see you same time next week.